Okay, Brent.
Okay, Josh.
This is Speak Now or Whatever. This is our interview with Jim and Rob of the Get Up Kids. We had the pleasure of sitting down with them briefly on a stop here in Birmingham, Alabama on their tour where they are playing their album, Something to Write Home About, in celebration of its 25th anniversary.
Yep.
And this is an album that has meant so much to us, an album that means so much to so many people. And it was really cool to hear them talk about going from their first album, 4 Minute Mile, and transitioning into this period of writing and recording and making this album, and then touring this album. And they gave us some great stories about just being a touring band, being young. I mean, like being like almost 21 and just learning how to grow as a band, play as a band, touring in Europe. They talked to us endlessly about that. And it was just a really good way to get to know them and get to know more about who this band is.
Yeah, we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with them. Of course, as a band touring, you know that they're on a set schedule. They have to do sound checks, things like that, and playing down at Saturn. We didn't want to hold up too much of their time. So this is a very short episode, but it was great to have them here personally in the workplace studio, just to kind of talk about those things. Fantastic guys.
Exactly, and they were genuinely kind, nice to us, and took time out of their busy day to come and speak with us. And the show went well.
Yeah.
And from what we've heard, every show on this tour, I think they've said, they're hearing the lyrics sung back to them. They're playing the entire record of Something to Write Home About, and they're hearing the crowds just sing back these lyrics very loudly.
And I was one of those last night.
You were one of those for sure. So this is our interview with Jim and Rob from the Get Up Kids.
Yes. So don't say anything you don't want.
We played the East Side Bowl, which is insane. Cool. It used to be a Kmart.
Oh, no
But there is a bowling alley in there. But there was another band playing inside a giant bowling alley, pool tables. It was kind of nuts.
Nashville's wild.
It's changing, man. Nashville's changing. Sold out. Great show. Nice. Good crowd. It was fun.
You're having a lot of singing back on this tour, I imagine.
They yell at us. They scream right back at us.
They scream lyrics back at you.
It's interesting. The other night, we're the first part of the set is we're playing an album front to back in order.
That's right.
And then people will yell out songs that aren't on the album when we're obviously playing the album front to back. It's like when you post on Instagram about a tour, and they're like, "Come to Denver," and we were in Denver 2 weeks earlier.
2 months ago.
Do you guys even pay attention?
No kidding. Yeah, but I think it's interesting to be doing the whole album front to back, and then you're adding songs at the end. Like you guys are playing maybe 8 or 9 other songs.
Yeah, it's a full set. We just and there was a little bit of debate if we were going to play it out of order.
Yeah,
but play the whole thing and add songs, but just play the whole thing. But I think we all like the idea of
I'm a firm believer in a sequential order album play.
Also, if you listen to an album a lot. You ever hear a song on the radio, and then you always think of the next song that should be playing?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, so to back to your point there, it's like we've had this conversation now, I think, twice with some of our interviewees of the album.
Yeah.
And listening to it front to back. We had an interview with Unwed Sailor where Jonathan was saying,
yeah, I know those guys.
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah. We actually, their guitarist lives here.
Cool.
So we've known him for 20 years.
Yeah.
But he really gave us a lot of insight into being an album guy. Yeah. It's like when we are in the tour bus, tour van.
Yeah.
When we are in the tour van, we put an album in, we front to back, we don't skip anything, even if we're not a huge fan of track 5.
Sure.
We just go front to back because we're getting, the full picture.
Sometimes songs are, they're like the deep tracks but make as by themselves might be one thing, but as a whole create the album experience.
Yeah. I think that matters. And again, I can't I can't imagine, not going to your show and hearing that whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we sequenced the album,
Yeah.
so it
That's the right word,
sounds like how it flows.
Exactly.
So it kind of creates a set in itself that I think flows pretty well.
We opened up some shows for Jawbreaker a couple years ago when they were doing Dear You.
Okay.
But they were doing it out of order, and it drove me fucking crazy. I loved watching them play.
Yes.
They were great.
Superjunk just did the same thing.
Did they?
They come out and they open with the first song on Foolish, so you think, they're going to play it front to back. They did not.
No.
I was like,
So
why?
it's like,
And I love those
don't
guys,
know.
but I wanted to hear it front to back.
And those are two of my favorite records of all time, Dear You and Foolish. But my brain, I know what should come next, and it didn't come next. And so
I've heard artists do the exact same thing. Like many artists are like, we're going to play the whole thing, but not in the way you think.
Yeah.
It's a weird experience, I think, for the listener.
I think Rob said it best. You said, we don't want to mess with perfection.
Why?
I like the way you're thinking.
Rob never said that.
Yeah.
Not yet. I'm going to say.
Well, the album sounds perfect. What I mean is, as a listener, you just mentioned the sequencing. It's like you can hear the intent. I know you guys hear it. You go back, you're reflecting on it. You might think, there were some imperfections there, things maybe we would have done differently now. But the way you did it, the way you mixed it, it's sequenced in the way that you are getting just this great picture of not only who you were at a band at that time, but just what you're about. And you can hear that. I think you can hear that in the album.
We had time to record. It was like a luxury.
You weren't rushed.
We were in LA. We were living in LA for almost 2 months. And it was kind of crazy though. We made it at we were living in Westwood and we were recording in Silver Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the worst commute. And we'd commute every day. Like it was nuts. But we had money that time to make it.
Yeah.
And so we really got to think about guitar.
We kind of had money. It wasn't like a big budget record by any
But
means.
compared 4 Minute Mile, we just plugged and played. It's basically a live
That's what
record.
I read.
Yeah. Our first record was made in 3.5 days. And then our second record, we had 5 or 6 weeks, maybe, start to finish. Maybe not quite that
It was
long.
6 weeks. Yeah, because we did pre-production too. We just did.
We were
which
in
was
California
crazy.
working on the record for 6 weeks.
Some of those
There was
songs
probably
got
about a month
worked
of
out
recording.
there, yeah.
But it was, again, not like a massive, it was not like a big budget record. We were sleeping on the guy that worked at the record label, we were all sleeping in his house.
Okay.
His roommates
we were
loved
not-
it. And then he
We were
left.
not- did.
We were not staying at the Chateau Marmont.
It was pretty punk. But
It is very punk.
we listened to, what was that show, Love Line? That was on
We listened
K-Rock
to a lot of
every
Love
night
Line.
driving back from the studio.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah. Radio.
Yeah.
Radio.
I mean,
was a blast from the
it
past.
was a really cool experience for me. I'd never lived anywhere outside the Kansas City area for that long and just hanging out in LA. It was fun.
We had a lot of fun.
No
We did have
kidding.
a lot of cops called a couple times from house parties.
Yep.
We were throwing. We were insane.
Right.
I think I just turned 21.
I wish I
did
knew
Rob.
how many cigarettes were smoked.
So gross.
If you had 6 weeks to do it.
my
God,
God.
I can't believe I smoked.
And we were just,
I-
we were all smoking indoors.
I have
all
to take
time.
an allergy pill to be
Those
around
days.
a campfire now.
Yeah,
That's
it
how
was
allergic to smoke I am. I don't even know how I smoke.
Oh my gosh. How long have you not been smoking?
Oh, a long time. I smoked when I was 18 to 28. And I wanted to quit when I knew I wanted to be a dad. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be a smoker. So I've quit now,
Yeah.
17 years.
Oh, that's
I
fantastic.
smoked my entire 20s and then quit right when I turned 30.
Good job.
Yeah.
I can't do
Fuck,
math.
it was
Yeah.
good though, man.
It was
good.
It was good smoking or it was good quitting?
I mean,
19 years. 19 years
of
is
it.
something.
Yeah.
I've quit
I mean,
smoking.
I wish it was like drinking coffee.
I-
You know,
right,
where
yeah.
it's like, okay, maybe that's not bad for you, but it's not great for you either.
Right.
Because man, I'd be ripping butts all
I still
day
have a
long.
love-hate relationship with him. I mean, this is probably the longest I've gone, which is a little less than a year now, something
Yeah,
like that.
my little brother
But-
smokes, and I'm always like, dude, just come.
Yeah,
He
come
plays
over.
drums in the band, and he's like,
He also
"Oh,
smells
sorry."
terrible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the
There
thing.
are
Smells
moments when he
terrible.
smells terrible, and there are moments when I just want him to live in my brain.
Yeah. And for a smoker, I don't even, when I was smoking on a regular basis, I didn't even think about the smell because it was just on me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what
Yes.
everybody else smells.
Yeah.
And then now I can smell things so much better. And it's
It's true.
it's terrible. It's awful.
All right. Cigarettes.
Okay, but so you just mentioned coffee. Have you guys lessened your coffee intake over the years, or has that increased?
Mine's gotten worse.
Or caffeine intake.
Well, now I gave up soda. Now Coke Zero is just like calling my name.
Well, there's no sugar.
It's so good. I'm sure it's giving me cancer or something. But Ryan, our drummer's brother, actually owned a coffee roasting company.
That's
with
fantastic.
His ex-wife, she got the business, and she's still doing it. It's really good coffee. It's called Repetition, Lawrence,
great.
Kansas. Yeah, nice. But it's been doing well.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know, caffeine.
So he got me into coffee.
We've just been holding that line. We're good.
We have a good relationship.
We have a great relationship with caffeine.
I've lessened it considerably because I used to. Number one, there's several terrific coffee roasters here right in this city. Great coffee houses. You can vouch for this. Great coffee houses, people making great espresso and roasting great beans. I used to work at one of these places, and that's how I started drinking coffee, and used to be, a consistent amount, especially if it was readily available and I didn't have to go buy it or make it, it'd be all day until 7 p.m.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I was 20-something years old, but then now I don't know what it is, stomach issues or whatever. You just, at some point, I don't guess I really need it that much. And I can I can literally just handle 8 ounces a day.
I just got into, and I'm very late to the game, espresso martinis.
Oh,
boy.
no.
Dang.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and
double trouble.
Rob and Ryan own a bar in Lawrence, and they make a very nice espresso martini.
Hey, thanks, Jim.
And I can see why they're all the rage. It's like a grown-up Red Bull and vodka.
Kansas City. So the band started there, right?
Yep.
Okay. I've only spent this amount of time. I want to ask a couple questions about Kansas City, some about music.
Go Chiefs.
I want to say some about music and some about barbecue.
Okay.
Have you guys already eaten barbecue here today?
Not yet.
No, but I was literally just saying, I think I had barbecue last time I was here, and it was really good.
Right. Well, right now your tour bus is parked probably a corner around from a terrific one at Saws. Yeah, you guys are right around there. So there's plethora of them here in Birmingham. I visited Kansas City several years ago. I was doing some school up there and did not know. I was completely ignorant of how much they prize the barbecue. I didn't know.
It's taken very seriously. The American Royal Barbecue competitions in Kansas City, which is the largest.
I found out.
Yeah.
That's how I found out.
Have you ever gone to that, Jim?
I have. It's fun, but it's not, I don't know. It's cool to see, but it's one of those things. You go once. Yeah.
Like I've seen it, I've smelled it, I've tasted it. Yeah, I went to a place called Hog's Jaw that was really good.
I feel like that's newer.
It's newer.
Yeah, I haven't been there.
Yeah, that place was terrific.
Joe's is a big one.
Oklahoma Joe's.
It was called Oklahoma Joe's. Now it's called Joe's KC because there's like an Oklahoma Joe's smoker maker, and so I guess they got a lawsuit or something. Okay. I don't know, but it's really good. It's in a gas station. And it kind of got famous because Anthony Bourdain said it was like the 13 places you have to try before you die or something. And it is really great. Secret there is you order ahead of time and then just get it because there's nowhere to sit and the line's like out the door. But yeah, there's a bunch of new ones popping up. Yeah,
did not know that it was a big deal. So that was
ends is a big specialty.
That was the first time I ever had it. Was in Kansas City.
That's like kind of what we're known for. We're also known for kind of doing anything. The reason I think barbecue started there is because it's like the crossroads of all the railroads. So they would just get all the leftover meats and the like packing plants and stuff, and they would smoke anything. Like, Texas is known for like beef, right? And more south, it's like North Carolina stuff. It's like known for like pork, but we'll smoke anything in Kansas City. We don't care. Seriously,
you got it down.
You go and
Jesus Christ. You got to start working for the city, just coming up with new slogans.
Yeah, right.
We'll
smoke anything.
That's a T-shirt.
Yeah,
that's a T-shirt or a ball cap. Well, the other thing I was going to ask about Kansas City, about when you guys started and like immediate influences for your band when you started, and especially like what the Kansas City scene was like then.
There wasn't much of it. In Kansas City, the scene was always, well, if my band starts to get popular, we move to Chicago.
Right.
Like so many, like that's like you're the Midwest. You go to Chicago to make it. And a lot of friends did.
And we just interviewed a guy who, his punk band to us was huge, but he said when we start, they're from the Midwest. They're from Indiana. And he was like, it's not cool.
Yeah.
So we start and we did our best, and then somehow it ended up
Well, I
working.
mean, we've
but-
stayed for a reason, I guess. I mean, we're all still in the Kansas City, Lawrence area, but
Right.
It still feels like home, but like starting out as a band, the goal was to always get out of town.
Yes.
Like we
it's better now. The scene, like, there's more venues, more bands. It was,
at the time there were a couple really good bands we looked up to. There was a band called Giant's Chair. There was a band called Boys Life.
Yep.
Those guys were doing touring in America, but like very punk rock.
Yes.
I mean, van tours that playing a lot of houses, VFW halls, and that's where we got our start too. I mean, we shared a rehearsal space with Boys Life, and when we were at a point to where we could all leave town and tour, we just basically took their little black book and made all the phone calls and
Absolutely.
did the circuit. Yeah.
That seemed to be a growing trend. It seemed like in those days for Midwesterners was the VFW halls.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's definitely just like the punk rock hardcore scene. It was just like we sort of had a built-in fan base right when we kind of left. There were all these little scenes popping up all over.
Yeah.
Like a lot of basement shows, like Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's called the Slant House, and
Yeah, there was a weird little Midwestern network that kind of went all the way from maybe Madison all the way down to Austin, Texas, that you could kind of like make a circuit out of it and put a tour together that made sense, and you were making connections with other bands, and we were playing with Braid and
Yeah.
Ethel
a
Mazur.
lot of playing on the floor.
Lots of
Only a vocal PA.
Lots of record
Right.
stores,
Been there.
lots of punk houses and stuff like that. But it established our band.
Absolutely. When you guys are not doing this, when you're not on the road, you're not in that bus, and you're back at home, are you guys busy creating? Are you have the itch to create, write music?
I try to play music every day. I have a full-time job when I'm at home, which
Okay.
I'm working right now, but I work for a nonprofit organization, and my boss is a friend of mine. So I'm very lucky that I can work while I travel. But yeah, that kind of takes up a lot of my life.
Right.
And we try, I mean, honestly, it's kind of funny. Like, it's just hard when you're adulting to get 5 grown men in the same room to
Yes.
like get your schedules to match up. I don't live super far away, but it's like 40 minutes. So I have to plan
And
accordingly.
beyond that, just getting everybody in the room, but having everyone in the room with the mindset of like being creative.
Yeah.
It's hard to ditch all that other shit when you walk in the door.
Yeah.
We did over COVID. We demoed a bunch of stuff. I mean, we tried to stay busy. We were doing a Patreon account but we were like learning covers and just trying to still, make a living playing music when we could.
The Get Up Kids did this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And we demoed a bunch. Some of it was really good. Some was whatever. But I don't know. Who knows if that'll ever see the light of day?
Yeah, we're always curious about that. It's just the impulse to keep creating, well, and make time to act like it.
We're hyper. I mean, obviously, because we're playing this,
Yeah,
like a nostalgia tour, playing this album.
Yeah.
We've been sort of focused on that more than anything. But I mean, I love making music. That's why I still do it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And people respect it for sure.
Yeah. When I'm at home, I mean, Ryan who plays drums, the smoker, coffee maker, he and I have a studio in his house, and so that I record some records and make stuff with other people and wind up playing on other people's records a lot. And, that's been fun.
Yeah,
Running a studio. He and I own a bar together. I've got 2 kids.
wonderful.
Kids in 9 and 10 that takes up a lot of time, and that's very fun.
I have a 15-year-old who loves something to write home about.
Oh, cool.
Next generation.
Seriously.
We're starting
It
to
is
see
fun.
it.
It is.
Yeah. We're seeing it all the time.
We're seeing the parents bring the kids to the shows.
Yeah, dude.
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to tell if the kids are bringing the parents.
Both and.
Yeah, I mean,
Both and.
sometimes it's like because I've definitely noticed it, like in the front, there's been some young kids.
Yesterday there were some young, definitely
you
teenagers.
can tell like the
Yeah.
kids know the words to the songs, and maybe the parents don't.
That's so cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Still got it.
Absolutely. So then after this leg of this tour, then you'll have a break for a little while, and then you're going to go overseas, right?
Yeah.
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 It's got to be astounding to not just reflect on, you made this album and it was a great thing for your band, but how much that means to people, not just here regionally, but all over the world.
Very important to a small amount of people.
People are like, you're in a band? What's the name of your band? And like, of course, they don't know who the Dev Kids are. And I always have to say, we're very important to a small group of people. But to that small group of people, we're very, very important. Yeah. It's like, how do you travel over the world? And I've never heard of you.
Yeah.
But you say that. Those are my favorite kind of bands.
Sure.
Like those are all the bands that I listen to all the time.
I remember the first time we went to Europe when we were all like, I don't even know how old we were. I mean, something we were home about wasn't out.
We were 20 years old.
And with Braid.
Yeah.
And just like that, we're in Germany first night and people are singing the words to your songs. Like, wow, that's like the coolest thing ever,
It is awesome.
Like pre-streaming.
That's what I mean.
People had
it was
purchased
just word of mouth and like the punk scene in Europe. And that was a wild tour.
Yeah.
We played this like metal bar in Geneva in Switzerland, and we stayed at a squat, and it was a mansion on Lake Geneva.
It was a squat.
And it was a squat. So the government basically paid they were like a collective, and they would bring bands, and then they would stay and feed you and everything. And it's like this. So the government just like as an arts thing, and they kept the electricity on as long as they maintained. Because I think these houses are just gigantic, and like if
they had built a half pipe in the ballroom.
There was a ballroom with a half pipe.
Insane.
I love that.
It was insane. Yeah. It was insane. Yeah, and like this huge like double staircase, and like these. It was like so crazy.
Shit you would never see in America.
It was crazy. It was so cool. And we're just like wide eyed. I'd never been to Europe. I was like, oh my gosh, everything was cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's this hash everyone is talking about?
It's wild times. Going through all the borders.
Yeah.
Where they stop. Of course, they make us all get out. We're in a van. It was free. It was a really cold winter. It's like in February. I remember in Germany, it was like, it gets cold in Kansas City. But I was like, damn, this is like the cold. Like our diesel froze. We had to like in the van. Yeah, it was wild.
Like, the feeling of when your feet are really cold
and they just never get warm.
We were like that for like 5 weeks straight.
Oh no,
that was Europe.
That was our first tour in Europe.
Literally slept on a stage in Italy.
I
got in the car. I slept in the car.
Yeah.
I was like, I call this front seat. Like these guys are like on a dirty stage.
Yeah.
I was going to ask.
There's a lot of cold showers.
Oh, well, hey, cold feet, cold showers.
I mean, a lot of not showers.
A lot of not showers. Like, I think there were, it was like if you showered like once every 5 days, you were pretty good. But
that's when we didn't have work permits.
I think there was like one or two warm showers that entire 6-week tour.
Oh, man.
We played a lot of like these like youth clubs in Germany. Bunch of like 14-year-olds getting drunk.
And then it would just turn into like a discotheque after.
Mm-hmm. This was the Braid tour in Europe?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I don't think any of us were 21. Maybe some of the Braid guys were. So we're all like, beer.
Todd Bell was 21. Todd and Damon were 21. Drinking age didn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why it was awesome.
Yeah, I think it's like
we were probably drinking more than our crowd was.
It was pre-Euro. I didn't know we were going to go on this Europe tangent, but it was pre-Euro and everywhere. So we'd have currency. Like we went to Croatia and played one show, but then we had all this Croatian currency from the merch. So we're like, what? It was like crazy, like trying to redo signs every day for whatever money was going to be.
Yeah.
You still have that Croatian currency with you there?
No, I think we traded it in for real money.
Use it for an art project or something?
Not a highly profitable tour.
No.
Oh, I think we did actually make a little bit of money.
We each came home with about $250.
It paid my rent.
Enough to like, that's how much my rent
But we were in Europe for 6 weeks. Like for a bunch of young guys we went everywhere. I was saying we didn't have work permits. So we had to sneak we took the boat, got to Dover, and they were like, we're American students. I have credit cards. Like, have fun, enjoy our country. And then we just got right back in the van with all the gear and drove off.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Sounds like Europe was a blast.
Europe was good. And we get to go back there twice this year.
I know, man.
We're in a bus this time.
Of course.
It'll be a little
no squats.
So you guys deserve it.
No half pipes.
No, well, we'll find a half pipe.
You know what's funny, though? The whole album cycle has definitely been like a thinking back nostalgia.
Sure.
And I always do think, I always say, like, the good old days are right now. You just don't know it, right? And so you think, like, sleeping in squats and like things like that. But those are some of the greatest times of my entire life, you know,
Of course.
being frozen and, you know, that like probably is my favorite tour I've ever done ever. Really.
Well, your 20-year-old body recovers a lot more quickly.
Yeah, we're now. I'm wearing an ankle brace on stage. Rob has a knee brace. It's like
It's not a brace. It's a compression sleeve, man.
Let's be honest.
I hurt my foot on the last tour. And it's
still
been
jumping
it's been
around
hurting
at
for
least.
months. And I went to a specialist. He's like, "You have high arches, so I have to wear arch support."
Yeah.
I
But
appreciate
I
your
got half an inch
vulnerability.
of height though.
Yeah.
Now I'm 5'11", so I'm like sick.
That's not how height works, Jim.
Hey,
No one's going to notice that ankle brace.
Yeah.
What were some of y'all's like favorite tours that y'all did? Like with what bands?
that
Do you
one
think
was
that
amazing. We got to open for Green Day, which was pretty.
Oh, that
pretty
tour was
cool.
really
That was wild.
Okay.
Weezer
We had a
too,
lot-
right?
Yeah, we
Right
did
at the same
like
time.
around the touring around Something Right Home About. We thought we were done, and then we got all this kind of like bonus touring because we'd done a lot of headlining shows on our own, and it was still pretty punk rock, like what we were doing on this record. But then right at the end of that touring, we were like, "Oh, we're gonna go make another record," and then we got offered a Weezer tour. We got offered a Green Day tour, so that cycle just kind of kept going. And those tours were really fun because clearly it was like a level up from what we were used to. And, you know, suddenly we were like going from
Playing hockey arenas.
playing
Literal hockey
playing
arenas.
like small
Insane.
clubs to being like, oh, we're in a weird arena, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's
Like,
amazing.
so it was just within the period of that 2 years of touring on that record, like we were playing house shows all the way to like weird arenas, you know? So it was pretty weird time.
And so many more people got exposed to your band.
Totally.
Yeah, that was those tours definitely helped our band a lot.
Just reflecting on the making of this album, which if I haven't already established is beautiful. I think we both agree on that. Just reflecting on making it, what are your memories associated with going into that 6 weeks, you know, going into that 6 weeks and putting your all into it, and just memories that you have associated with making it, putting it out, and even now playing it live, how do you connect to it? How do you connect to that music?
I mean, back then I feel like we were, we showed up to make that record really prepared.
Yeah.
Like we knew a lot of the songs we'd been playing live because we were at that time of the band, it was very much like, oh, we got a new song. The lyrics aren't quite done yet. Fuck it. Let's just play it. You know, the stakes, the stakes were a little bit lower, or like we didn't care. And so a lot of this stuff had been kind of road tested. We were all feeling like, oh yeah, we're just going to show up in the studio and just bang this stuff out. And that's more or less what we did. What took a long time in the studio was just like, we took a long time getting really great sounds and all that sort of stuff. But I think the performance stuff was all relatively fast.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel
Even pre-production, I mean, it was more for Chad, the producer. We were just kind of hearing
he
what
just
we had.
watched
and-
us rehearse.
Yeah, we basically
he didn't
rehearsed.
change anything.
There were a couple of songs
Yeah.
we kind of flushed out a little bit.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it was, it didn't feel extremely labored over. There wasn't a ton of conflict or fighting that I recall.
No.
It was mainly just,
You know, we had sometimes we never had the luxury of like, here's a wall of amplifiers. You know?
Yeah.
We
yeah.
used
it
a
was-
lot of matchless. What's that one? Is that the DC-30? Is that what it's called?
Chieftains.
It's like
Yeah.
really good. Like the 90s ones.
Yeah,
It
we
sounds
had the
so good.
opportunity to like layer guitars. Yeah, multiple.
You had the time.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we
So
had.
the
we had way
other
more
thing
time.
we did is we actually made demos.
Absolutely.
And we never,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
they're like, and some of those we reissued Something Right Home About, and a lot
That's
of those
right.
demos are on the second album. You can hear
Yeah.
like my guitar parts completely changed, lyrics completely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
great.
think that's exciting for your fans.
Yeah.
To hear these
I hope
demos,
so.
see how the germs of these things came to be. To begin
It was
with.
interesting for us to go back and have to be forced to listen to them.
and put them out to the
It's
world.
you know, it's like when you know it actually has to go out. It's like, oh, maybe fuck it. All right, I'll listen to that.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna go dig that up, but it was interesting to listen to.
Yeah. I think, well, I don't think I'm the only person would say this too, but I think that particular album is just a major touchstone for a lot of people. And I feel like they connected with your band, but just the lyrical content, thematically, it just really connected with them in a very specific way.
Sometimes we're unapologetically sincere to a fault.
No one's going to fault you.
But at the same time, I think, it's really an album about being a child to becoming an adult, transition of like real, friendships ending, things are changing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe it's universal things people are going through. And
yeah, I could see that. I can hear that as well. And now you said you're doing new demos, or you were doing some new demos?
I don't know what we need to like finish touring on this and then have a real deal band meeting about what we want to do moving forward.
Sure.
Because the last album was 2019?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
we
5
did
years ago.
Right.
We did that one in Connecticut with Peter, Grammy award-winning producer.
Bingo.
Peter Cadis, who he engineered On a Wire. And he's just a really good dude. He's did like all the big national records and Interpol and Interpol, both. But
both of the important Interpol records.
Anyway, he's a great guy, and he has this. It's like a 3-story mansion in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That the top floor is a recording studio, and then like you just live there. And we were there for over a month. I don't know.
We recorded that record in 21 days.
It would be hard to. I think I was counting mixing.
That was mixing.
We actually, we did that kind of punk rock too, where
took weekends off.
Basically Matt and I were tracking vocals in one room while someone was upstairs. Rob was
3 studios
laying down
going.
bass and then flying, like we'd send it up and like, okay, try this.
That's like a laboratory.
Yeah. So, but that's how we were able to, we kind of made a 6-week record in 3 weeks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like mixing on the fly. Like he would be mixing while we were like adding stuff. So
cool.
But that was, I just don't know if we have the luxury now to like just go and live somewhere again for a month. But
I do.
Rob does. Every time we go, there's like an ongoing joke in our band where it's like we'll be in like Berlin or something like, oh, we should make a record.
We need to
Berlin.
make a record here.
We're in Mexico City. Oh, we should come here and make a record.
I like that attitude.
Yeah.
Giving it a shot.
Yeah.
Doing what
so
you can.
I don't know what we win or if.
So long story long.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But this tour, it's very exciting for all your fans, for sure. It's going to be exciting tonight in Birmingham.
We're feeling the love. We totally are.
I would imagine so. And I imagine the volume of singing will be just as loud, hopefully, as it has been the last 2 nights.
I think so.
Not yelling, but
we'll see what happens.
But singing. Yeah. One way or the other. And we can't thank you guys enough for talking with us.
Hey,
thank you guys.
Yeah, means a lot.
We'd like to take the time to thank Workplay here in Birmingham, Alabama, for allowing us to record and edit our episodes in their dedicated podcast studio. If you or someone else you know is interested in starting a podcast without the hassle of purchasing equipment, please reach out to Workplay at workplay.com.